Bhagavad Gita says, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. So whatever you do with perfection is called yoga. So if I'm able to sit on the swing and enjoy this moment, that is also yoga. Let's not just confine yoga to physical practices. Let us try understanding what yoga actually means. Welcome to Info at Honori.
Content ಇಷ್ಟ ಆದರೆ like, share and subscribe ಮಾಡಿ.
Welcome to Info at Honori. Today on our show we have Priyanka Sheth with us to talk about what is yoga. So Priyanka, as discussed, what is yoga according to you?
See, yoga is basically a path towards liberation. Okay, if you see, that is the reality. A path towards moksha. But in today's time, it becomes very difficult for people to digest. Right? Liberation, moksha. No, I don't want that right now. I just want to enjoy. So you take it in a way that yoga is a path towards your inner journey, like knowing your inner self, who you are, in your day-to-day activities. It's about being present in the moment, like living in the present moment. That is what you can define yoga as for today's time, I would say. Like, yes, liberation is the ultimate. No matter what, you digest, you can digest, you cannot digest. Liberation is the ultimate.
Because today the young generation are inclined towards yoga, and you talk to them about liberation, moksha. How do they understand?
See, to young generation, for them what has happened is they think yoga as just one factor, that is asana. They see yoga as asana. There is nothing beyond asana. It's always the asana practice. It's about its physical modalities, right? But we need to educate them that yes, physical aspect of asana is there, but the word yoga doesn't mean asana. Okay, it has, like, you need to entirely, I would say they have twisted it completely. Yoga means asan, physical. But the word yoga, where does it come from? What does it mean? They need to learn this, and maybe slowly they can move on with, understanding about that asana is not the one thing, and this is how they can go ahead with their life.
So where does it come from?
So yoga is like, it originates from, there is no, I would say, there is no time given for it. From where it begins, there is no time. Okay, it is basically timelessness. It's like there is no time. You cannot say yoga began at this time, so and so time. We don't know it. But yes, in our Vedic tradition, it is said that the origin of yoga came from Hiranyagarbha. The golden womb, we all have heard, which is source of the entire creation. So yoga began from that time. It is revered like, that Hiranyagarbha is the ultimate master of yoga, who has gotten yoga into the being. Like, why? For evolution of human life. Okay?
Let me understand, how does yoga help in evolution of human life?
That's what, when you understand the meaning of yoga, right? As I told you, we'll be coming up with that shortly, but I have few more points to be mentioned over here.
Okay.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Day-to-day suffering, right? Our wants are increasing.
Yes.
Our wants are increasing. It's not about need these days, but you desire something, you don't get that something, whatever it is, leads to anger to rage. What is happening? We are the only sufferers, right? People who are getting into it, so it's ignorant, right? So you need to understand the difference between the sat and asat, I would say, right? Sat and asat. What is real and what is unreal over here? This is spoken by Shri Krishna beautifully in Bhagavad Gita. The real and unreal. When you understand, even when you talk about our text on Tattva Bodha, right? They say nitya vastu viveka, right? The right, the wrong, the discernment of viveka jnana, right? What is right, what is wrong. So ultimately, sukha prapti is something which is going to give inner peace. Dukha nivritti, that is, you have to come out of these dukhas. So yeah, you have to understand and live life in balance. Now beautifully, the yoga origin again comes in Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna says, yoga is the eternal truth, which Shri Krishna passed it on to Surya Devata, the sun god. Sun god passed it to Manu. Okay. Manu to Ikshavaku. and then it passed on to the next generation. So you understand yoga is something that is divine. It is known as the divinity, the ultimate consciousness, the supreme consciousness. So the word yoga, again, yogaha, right? The union of what? Your mind, your body. When there is a synchronization between your mind and body, you work towards it. Again, I would say, then things go in balance, and that state of balance will lead to yoga, being in the present. That is yoga. Now, it is not asana.
Okay.
You getting my point? And now when you come to the another tradition of tantric tradition, where they say the Adi Yogi, Lord Shiva is the guru of yoga, the ultimate. Okay, that is also being said, right, in the tantric tradition. So what Shiva? He gave the knowledge of yoga to the Saptarishis, which was further spread. It kept spreading from generations to generations, this knowledge. And what was it? It was said about the inner journey. It was said about the stillness within you, Vairagya. Now again, Vairagya, detachment. Now people will think, oh my God, I can't leave everything and go.
I'm too young to attain Vairagya.
Exactly. But Vairagya doesn't mean that, you leave everything and be a sannyasi. In your day-to-day life also, you can practice detachment.
How?
Okay. Let me give an example for something. You love something which is very close to you. Or say a success and failure in your life. Now there is a success, you're attached to your success. Suddenly there comes a failure in your life. A simple example, I think we can go ahead with this example. Failure comes in your life. What will happen to you? Will you be able to take it? Because you were so attached, that's going to lead to suffering. Okay?
Dukha prapti.
Sukha prapti, dukha nivritti again comes here. Right? You are going to feel like, arey yaar, I failed, and then you are in stress, and the list goes on with that particular thing. But if you were in balance, you understood yourself that success and failure is just a situation. It is just a part of my life. It's okay. If there is success today, there's a failure. Today there's a failure, tomorrow there's a success. Today I laugh, next moment I cry. Maybe next moment I laugh. As simple as it. So that is how you can live life in balance, no? So this is how the word, the yoga, the origin of yoga is like. This is how it has been originated. We don't know its time. We don't know what it is. But you need to understand that word. As I said, the union. Let me tell you, the meaning of the word yoga is mentioned by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 48, where he says, Samatvam yoga yuchyate. This is one of just a line from the verse. I'm not telling the entire verse, just a line from the verse, which means yoga is in equanimity. It is in balance, living life in harmony. How? That is what I said, no? Pain, pleasure. So I'm in pain, it is situational. A pleasure came to me, I am in that pleasure situation. You're just going to witness that. You're just going to be an observer. But when you bind with it is where the attachment comes. So when you understand what yoga is, like I said, samatvam yoga yuchyate, then you will understand, oh, okay, this is yoga. Yoga is not about asana alone. So let me live life in balance. So it will teach you how to live in balance.
So do you say the asanas or the pranayama and other physical practices that is involved in yoga would not help us lead this samatva?
See, I'm not saying that it will not help you to go to samatva. Okay. Now asana, pranayama is a very subtle practice. It doesn't come under physical practice. I would like to make a note.
Pranayama and other physical practices that is involved in yoga would not help us lead this samatva?
See, I'm not saying that it will not help you to go to samatva. Okay. Now asana, pranayama is a very subtle practice. It doesn't come under physical practice. I would like to make a note of that. But when it comes to asana, it is just to train your body at the physical level to go further deeper into these aspects. And it's just a gateway. The gate opens, so you're going to open the gate through asana practices. Now what happens when you're doing asana practices? You will live a disease-free life. Okay. Your physical health is going to be good. Like you have other physical practices like walking, jogging, swimming. right? They are all stimulant. But in asana, there is stimulation and relaxation together. So asana practices are important. I'm not saying that. But one shouldn't be attached to asana alone. If you really want to go inward, you need to go further. With other practices as well. So your asana, you need to understand that it is just at the physical level, but it can even take you inward if you are practicing under the right teacher and the guidance.
In this fast moving era, when the youngsters, even the teenagers are moving towards yoga, how can we even push these concepts, the concept of
By educating them. By educating them. You need to educate them. You need to make them understand. So how will you do that? You take them into asana practice first. Okay, that is the gate. Okay, come into asana practice. You're getting into asana. While practicing asana, there are so many asanas we have, n number of asanas are there. So when they are practicing, we need to educate them about that asana, what the asana means. How you need to hold the asana with proper alignment. Okay, learn to stop where you can. Don't push yourself. Each student has their own capacity, own physiology of the body, right? So making them understand this is self is enough for you. You need to train them in that way and then slowly take. Now see, I'll give you an example. Like even in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, when Maharishi Patanjali, there are entire Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there are only 3 sutras of asana. The entire thing is about the mind.
Okay.
He literally speaks on the mind, the meditation, the dhyana, going deeper about samadhi, right? But in the sadhana pada, there is only 3 sutras which speak on asana, and one is very famous which everybody will know, Sthiram, Sukham, Asanam. So what is Sthira, what is Sukha and Asanam?
Sthira is being stable. Sukha is the comfort of the
exactly,
position.
yes,
So,
Asanam.
So I have understood that whatever the position you are comfortable in is
exactly,
called as
you be
asana.
there. The asana should be approached in an effortless way. There shouldn't be too much effort. It should become effortless.
They are asanas, actually it looks scary for a not so flexible person like me. If you should have a very much flexible body, you have to stretch, you have to bend.
That is what I'm telling you, again it comes to flexibility. Asana, okay, I need a flexible body. Asana. See, this question what you asked me right now, a body like me, even I'm not that flexible. Being a yoga teacher, I'm not that flexible. Okay, what asana suits me? 5 sets of asana suits me. I'll do those 5 sets of asanas. Now you have props to practice asana. Use props and do. Don't limit yourself. And see, flexibility at the body level is not that important. It is, but it is not that important. But flexibility at the mental level is more important. That is what you learn from the asana practice. That is how asana takes you inward. Now when we are talking about Hatha Yoga, it speaks on asanas. But remember, before it comes to asana, okay, it talks about kriyas. The first practice in Hatha Yoga is the Shat kriyas, okay, which helps in cleansing your internal organs, helps in sharpening your cognitive senses, the senses and everything, and then they put you into asana. When you are into asana, slowly from asana you move to pranayama. Okay, now when it comes again back to Patanjali, as I told you, the 3 sutras it has mentioned, it starts with sthira, okay, stability. So you practice asana to bring stability. From that stability, you move from effort to effortlessness.
Okay.
You understand? And what happens ultimately, you prepare your body in such a way to sit still for pranayama and meditation practice. Now see, these days again, yoga and meditation, or meditation is going on, you say go meditate, but when your physical body itself is not strengthened, you are not that stable, sitting in meditation for 2-3 minutes also becomes difficult for a person. So that is why asana is there. Now even Maharishi Patanjali will not say about asana immediately in starting itself. He speaks about the 8 limbs. If you would have heard about Ashtanga Yoga. So in Ashtanga Yoga, we say, most of them must be knowing Yama, Niyama, Asana. So Asana comes third. So Yamas and Niyamas, the ethical values, the moral ethical values towards others, self-discipline towards yourself. Practice all this. Then get into Asana. Then get into Pranayama. Then Pratyahara, that is moving inward. You know, your senses, like these days, this scrolling thing is there a lot. So it's the eye, you know, it is that eye, like it wants to. That's pratyahara. So you push yourself, take a break. So that increases your willpower. I'll not touch my phone for so much time. I will not, 10 minutes. So this increases your willpower. You understand? Pratyahara.
What if I look at the clock and say, 2 more minutes, 1 more minute, 30 more seconds.
So that's what, now you're also attached to the time. Again, that attachment is coming, no? 2 more minutes. Oh, 30 seconds. Yeah, asana practice, this happens, no? The teacher is giving counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. When will she stop? When will she stop? Again, you're going out. See, it's all about inward. So what I believe in is, when I'm teaching, basically, I don't count. I'll just instruct the asana. They hold the asana, I leave it to them.
However long they want.
Be with your breath, focus inward. See what's happening in your mind, okay? What you feel about a particular asana. See, that is where it's like more of awareness, being in the present moment will come through the asana practice. Getting my point? So, why to limit asana just as a physical practice only over here? Move inward. Now, as you said, you move inward, right? Now, when we okay, how will I find balance through yoga in life? Asana is there, how to find balance? Okay, chalo, you're doing Veerbhadrasana. It's a balancing asana.
Okay.
Something that will help you to balance physically. Then it will bring mental balance. Then it will help you balance your breath, the movement. Like there won't be jerky movement, as we discussed in our pranayama session earlier. So the breath will be normal, regulated. It will follow. And what will happen to the mind then? The mind will be calm. And when the mind is calm, there's more clarity, there's more awareness. And all this, when you see out in the surrounding of your environment, in our relationships, everything is where empathy, compassion, forgiveness will start coming within you. You'll start applying on yourself first. That is more important.
So unless you apply these things on your own self, there is no use just having a physical practice is what you're trying to convey through this conversation.
Yes.